Yes, it's true. I'm back for another day to talk about killing people, medical murder. How exciting, eh? What a topic. Nobody wants to hear about this. We can talk about that. It's death. Yeah. Do you know what? We're all going to do it. Every last one of us. Something that we really need to. I think if we as a society in whole, not that I ever see it happening, just come to the understanding that we're going to die. It makes life much sweeter. It gives it its depth. To know that it's not a given that you will be here forever, that we need to have gratitude for the now that we're here and understand death, what death is, how this human body knows how to die, and how it is, there's something spiritual. We are a holistic being with many different facets and sides. We are not just this meat suit that you find yourself in. That's not it. We're consciousness. We inhabit many dimensions. We are multi-dimensional beings. And death, just like birth, is just an exit from one reality into another reality. And it has become weaponized, basically. Weaponized and profit driven, right? So I just want to draw your attention to this little heart. So this little heart has the ashes of my son Neil, who died of a fentanyl overdose. He thought that he was buying cocaine. It was not cocaine. It was spiked, which is a big one. Just need to look on the streets of any place in Canada, it's here in the big city, I'm sure, in Panama, but you don't see it. Here it's cocaine because it's near Colombia, which is just as dangerous because if it's spiked with this shit, but you just don't hear, it's not, well, that part of the war has not hit here yet. There's other things that are happening here on this beautiful pork chop of an isthmus that has tons of natural resources, and one being the canal. So tomorrow Neil would have been 43 years old. And my heart, this is for all the people that have lost someone that they love, someone that they know, someone that they care about, from one of the many means, the way that the government has to call it its citizens. It's covert eugenics programs, because that's what it is. When you go after the people on the streets that are doing drugs, or people that do drugs, they see you as being inefficient and not meant for the system, because we're already in a technocracy. It took over a long time ago, and we've always been a corporation. That's what we are, and we've always been the slaves to the corporation. So with MAiD, basically what it does, it takes away any kind of hope or healing. It takes away, it makes it look that humans are disposable, that you can just, once they're past their best date for older people and are actually pulling off the system, because that's what they want you to believe, that we pull off the system. And for people with disabilities, I mean, that has always been there. Because I took the developmental service worker course, right? I went into many of the institutions that held people, right? Those people were not treated very well. They've been experimented on. The same with people with mental health problems. They've been experimented on too. There's many instances. All you have to do is go online. You see, people don't want to know. They don't want to believe that their governments are this corrupted, this cruel. They are. So now, as we get into the 21st century, when you look at eugenics, eugenics used to be out in the open back at the beginning of the 1900s, right? It was no secret. And this Margaret Sanger that didn't like people of any different skin color or elite status, right? She wanted and another group of people she did not like, that they did not like, these eugenics people, were soldiers, veterans. They didn't believe that they should be cared for. And you hear how they have been treated. You know how they are treated. They're a target in Canada for eugenics. So I pull you back to the work again of Kelsey Sheeran, the Afghani vet, Canadian Afghani vet. She has a Substack site. She does great work, real work. People don't want to read it because it's so real. And people do not want to face painful things and evil, but you have to face it. You have to see what they're doing, that this is covert eugenics, right? And that they are culling a herd. They're culling the herd. They make no bones about, in Canada, of saving money because of this, right? That it's a cost-saving benefit. They've looked at the cost analysis. There was an article, CBC, it's in the news. So Kelsey Sharan, she was 19 when she went to Afghanistan to fight the war and learned some big things when she was there, watching her friends get blown up. And came back with a traumatic brain injury, and of course her soul injury and her post-traumatic stress disorder. And tried all the traditional shit, which doesn't work. I worked in it. I had to find creative ways. The creative ways I found was just bonding with people when I worked in mental health, to understand there's not a separation, and that you will use any of the tools that are out there to help a person regain themselves. Because really it's the soul that's gone away. I know from, not that I had that type of experience that Kelsey had, but I had my own experiences and are wanting to run from pain, and that the pain gets buried inside. So she was a great advocate, and they told her, there's nothing. You're like this, you will never be functional. You'll never be a functional human being. Can you imagine? And we know about mind control. It only takes a couple of times before that's stuck in your subconscious mind and you actually believe it at an unconscious level. And unconscious behavior, 95% of the time, we're functioning because of we're in that unconscious mind from the programs that are in us. So she tried other, non-traditional, and was poo-pooed by of course, the allopathic system, the big medicine, basically. So we have big medicine, big pharma, big death, right? Big drugs on the street. They're all connected. So she contemplated suicide a lot and knows how easy it would be for somebody to come in and coerce you. Know that all the hospitals have teams, and they are trained to coerce you into, if you are in that marginalized, which are people that are suicidal, that have suicidal tendencies, they're up for that. People that have mental health, in 2027, but they're already doing it because there are loopholes to this. And these guys are this is an ideology. They believe that they are compassionate, a lot of them. There are others that know exactly what they're doing. But for the vast majority, these are people that have drank the Kool-Aid and believe that it's compassionate care, that they're being compassionate, right? That they're easing suffering. So this is the people that are running these big institutions of death. It's all about death. It's all about being sick. It's all about keeping you in fear and keeping you anxious and keeping you confused and disrupted. And when you're in that state, when somebody who's an authority figure, like government, God help us, or the medical, though they're falling from their pill, but there's still people who believe it. The people that are the marginalized, the ones that they're after, right? To cull the herd. Back in 1987, there was a woman that works for Dying with Dignity and came out and said it. Well, we can't keep people that are in like vegetated states and stuff like that and all this AIDS stuff. What are we going to do with them? It's not efficient. 1987. How long do you think they've been planning this? And how many people have they damaged with that? And all the subsequent, because none of them do anything except hurt you, right? Created chronic disease that will push them in this path, will funnel them through mind control using nudge units, using fancy, because what I found with Dying with Dignity and Death with Dignity, which is the U.S., the Dying with Dignity has about 8 million in their coffers. Some of it donations, but investments. They're really good investors. Maybe they have inside information. And the one in the United States is about 4 million. Same thing. Really good investment, right? And then you can't find out with the MAiD house, you can't find out how much money they've got. Maybe it's good investments too, right? With the lawyers and the PR people and what were the other ones that were doctors that have all got together with this. You see, it's an ideology that they believe in. This is driven from an ideology. They could not bear, because they do not live that lifestyle. They don't live the way that you live, you and I live. They don't live that way. I know, because I worked in... I always thought, if they could know, right, gone from street person, huge alcoholic, right, battered woman, everything, all the things that I've been through, the ones that they don't like. I'm one of the ones, well, because I'm genetically inferior, because I'm adopted, right? There's something genetically wrong with you, right? And all that stuff. I always thought when I was working in the hospital there for 9 years, it's like, I'm behind enemy lines. I'm the one that they'd like to get rid of and they were talking about. They don't have a lot of respect for people. And it's not by coincidence, right, that these elitists don't. They're taught it, that you are lesser than them. And then you bring in the vid and the non-essential. That, again, mind control. These people are non-essential. You can guarantee that the ones that were non-essential and that messaging only takes a couple of times when you're in that state of fear, anxiety, confusion, and disruption, a couple of messages, and it was all the time, every day, non-essential, 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 non-essential. Well, then it's okay to kill them. And I guess the thing that I find most distressing, the information's there, it's everywhere, and that people don't seem to care. And it comes back to that, I don't want to look at death. We can't be talking about that. Oh, the government would never do that. Yeah, they are. It's time to face that there's evil in this world, right? And this evil wants your divine spark, and it will do it any which way it can. And it doesn't come in with the boots and the guns, right? It comes in with kindness and it appeals to your humanity, because you could never believe that something could be so malicious, profiting off the death and suffering of others. I'm here to tell you, they are. And they seem to have captured the Western world. It doesn't happen here. It'll take a while before they break the spirit of this people. But Canada's spirit seems to be completely broken, and that people can't see reality. And now the UK. And the UK is coming in, changing legislation on the bill that already went through to make it easier to go after people with disabilities, right? And there's great concern with Down syndrome people, right? That they're going to start to target people with developmental disabilities, right? And that people trust the white coats, especially people, that these marginalized people, all people, are trained to believe that these people are gods. And now they believe it. They believe they're gods, and they're taking your life. The only way we stop it is at a grassroots level, right? I'm thinking of doing grannies against euthanasia, because in 2027, whether you like it or not, right, unless something stops the train, the death train, there will be mature minors, people, all people with mental health, right, post-traumatic stress, veterans, depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, right, and advanced directives, so that when you're mentally competent, should you become incompetent, somebody can come and kill you. Imagine that, because you become a different person. You do. You don't remember that you signed something that said kill me, because you have been shown everything is terrible. You're going to end up like Gene Hack. No. If you continue to train the society that people that aren't young and perfect are just a drain to the system and should be offed for the greater good, because that's what they're fucking telling you, right? There's a great organization called Aging with Dignity. There's a fucking concept, isn't it? Aging with dignity and grace, right? But again, people have been mind controlled that aging is some kind of fucking blight, right? Get rid of it. Yeah, because they've stolen all your pensions everywhere in the world. They're not there. We're all in debt. We're indebted. We're indebted slaves to the people that they've sold us to, the CEOs, which are big business and corporation, big pharma, big medical industry, and big death. So, know your rights, know who you are, and for God's sake, stay healthy. Stay healthy. Don't buy into their fucking expert this and expert that. It's all mind control. We are born perfect. We can be perfect. Perfect and not the perfect. It's that the body runs perfectly. It knows how to run itself. It's got a whole system that's dedicated to that, that runs with the fields of energy around you. So if you really want to read a depressing book, it's not depressing. It's I like this guy, Dr. Jack King. They want to kill us. Here's how and here's why. It's short. It's a short read. He's been a doctor forever, right? He was a doctor when doctoring was actually an art. I have great respect for that. And I have great respect for nurses that practice the art of nursing, which is looking at people holistically and caring for them in all those, the spiritual, the emotional, the physical, the mental, looking financially, basically looking at the social determinants of health. They have taken away all the social determinants of health. Basically, you know what that is? It's what human beings need to thrive in a community. Right? And they've created the exact opposite because they make a profit off from the beginning to the end. It's all profit. That's it. So they've taken them all away. So the only thing that we as humans can do is consciously don't buy into their bullshit, because it's all bullshit for profit. Create your own systems and don't be dependent on it as much as you can, which all comes down to you. This all comes down to us at an individual level. What bullshit we want to see, right? And by looking at what's going on with real eyes, realistically seeing it, and allowing yourself to stay in a somewhat calm state, you can connect all the dots and see what they're doing. This is eugenics. It's eugenics for the 21st century. It's getting rid of the non-essential people by the technocratic, inefficiencies. We have to be efficient and for the greater good. That's a big one. That's a, pure totalitarian fascist statement, right? And then merging you with machines, transhumanism. That's eugenics. You're not good enough as a human being. We need to. And all the fentanyl deaths, all the drug deaths, that's eugenics. This is covert eugenics. Only the elite. The elite. And this is what Peter Thiel, who's been given the key to the, gonna keep you pre-crime. We'll know exactly what you're doing all the time because we'll be watching everything you do. And he's a part of Trump's little, group that only the elites should be allowed. The elites that are trained at, the best. That's technocracy. That only these people, no, they don't. They know one kind of truth. It's hard materialism, Darwinism, Malthusianism, that, there's overpopulation, which isn't true, and that the underclass have no right to be here, only they do, and that they get to rule us because they're so fucking smart. You know what they are? They're cunning and evil. That's all they are. That's it, right? And they believe that they are gods, and that they have the right to kill because, you see, these people are so cutthroat and so intertwined with some of the most malicious agencies on earth. They think they have the right, that somehow they're gods. They're not, And one day they will find out. I am totally against MAiD anywhere. I'm against it. Totally. It's wrong. We have no right to take God's life and to make it seem... It's immoral. It's immoral. What we're doing to people is immoral. You speak words over them, and it's AI that are speaking the words over you now. You follow. You start to believe that that's what you are. You're a human being, and you have every right to live, and you have every right to take care of yourself and not be dependent on that system, not think that that system. It's up to you. You need to take responsibility for you and not be afraid of the pain goblin. Pain is pain. Pain turns into suffering when you don't work through the pain issue, when you bury it. Then it becomes suffering. We create suffering, not pain. Pain is a teacher to help us individuate and become adults, realizing that pain is a part of it. You would never realize pleasure if you didn't know what pain was. We live in a duality. We can't hold on to one or the other. We can't push the pain away. We need to embrace it, understand it, and learn from it. And we can't grasp the pleasure to hold on to it like it'll never go away, because that just is not, you'll get burns on your hands. It's all about living and go and being here and seeing what's going on. So don't buy into the crap, and be careful. Be careful what you're watching. Be careful of what you're consuming, because these people are using very sophisticated mind control techniques on you. Very sophisticated. That's not a conspiracy theory. Check out the nudge units, the behavioral intervention teams. They'll do whatever. Again, it's an ideology. They think they have the right. Okay, another happy. What is? Because you're the power. It's our consciousness. Right? Not waiting on this. Doing things at a grassroots level. So I think Granny's against euthanasia. Right? Even just a little chat group. Okay, peace, take care. I don't want them coming after my anybody's family. Imagine your 12-year-old gets depressed. Is maybe being counseled by some fucking social worker. They, boy, turned that around, haven't they? Doesn't come home one day. That's, people think it's only for, those really seriously ill people. Yes, that they've, experimented on and now they're going to allow to be killed. No, it could be perfect. They're doing it now. Right? They've found ways around it because they're so fucking compassionate.